Caring about others is not actually a problem. In fact, caring about the opinions and perspectives of others can be incredibly valuable, especially if it contributes to your growth, challenges your limited thinking, or helps you to see beyond your current perspective. This kind of caring is productive caring. But what becomes unhealthy is that when you place so much importance and value on other people's opinions that you begin to undervalue your own wisdom and your own knowing. When their judgments or opinions make you question yourself, and you develop this obsessive need to either make everyone else understand your perspective or curate your behavior in alignment with their opinions in order to feel accepted. This is where it stops being about genuine care and starts becoming a chase for approval. Hello, my name is Tanvi, and in this video I'm going to talk about why you care so much about others' opinions and the social conditioning behind it, how it could be quietly damaging your self-esteem, and how to stop caring too much and take control of your life. From the time we begin engaging in social environments, starting from school for example, we slowly develop this habit of gaining approval from the very same people who guide us. Our teachers, parents, mentors, or even our friends. Most of the knowledge we receive early on is always validated by others, usually based on how closely our understanding matches what's written in a textbook. And the measure of that validation is usually the numbers that we score on our tests. Now, this in itself is not a problem, but the real issue begins when those numbers stop being just a measure of academic performance and start becoming a sole measure of our intelligence, or even worse, a measure of self-worth. Those who score well are praised, validated, or even encouraged, while those who don't are judged or even criticized. Over time, we develop this natural human urge to seek acceptance by complying to these parameters of evaluation. This drive for acceptance becomes a defense mechanism, a way to minimize the impact of other people's opinions. You begin to think that if you could win approval, you could also deflect judgment. But the danger of such conditional acceptance is that your self-worth becomes conditional too. You start to believe that you're only worthy when others approve of you, and that your value is tied to meet somebody else's expectations or standards. While grades and school is just an example, you can easily extrapolate this to other areas of your life. The way you show up at work, relationships, social media, or even casual conversations. All of it can be shaped by the same drive to gain approval or avoid rejection. You might have not known a better way to deal with judgment at the time, and maybe seeking acceptance felt like the safest response. But as you grow, you have to learn how to handle it so that you can make better choices for yourself, ones that are not rooted in the fear of losing acceptance from others. Now let's talk about what happens under the surface when caring too much starts to damage your self-esteem. Caring too much about others can create something known as the spotlight effect. This is a psychological phenomenon where you start to believe that people are paying more attention to you than they actually are. You start to believe that everyone is watching, analyzing, or forming opinions about your every move, when in reality, most people are busy thinking about themselves. The danger of spotlight effect is that you begin to judge yourself through the imagined judgments of others. You might start altering your behavior not because it feels true to you, but because you want to either reduce criticism or attract praise. Over time, you stay loyal to external validation but stop being authentic. An effective way to overcome the spotlight effect is to challenge and reframe the negative thoughts about being judged. When you catch yourself thinking that everyone is watching you or they must be judging you, pause and ask yourself, is it really true? Because often those thoughts are based on assumptions and not facts. By questioning and replacing them with a more balanced and realistic perspectives, like most people are focused on their lives or it's okay not to be perfect, you reduce the impact those fears have on your actions. You can start sabotaging your own opinions and insights simply because you have developed this habit of pedestalizing other people's opinions. When you overvalue external perspectives, you start to begin that others know better and somehow their direction will help you find yours, all while quietly dismissing your own experiences and inner wisdom. This habit often stems from the fear of disapproval. You start associating validation with support, as if someone agreeing with you automatically means they are helping you. But think about it. Is it really possible to meet your goals solely by gaining validation from others? When you rely too much on others' opinions, one day their validation may motivate you, and next day their criticism could make you lose sight of your goals. Validation is not a real support, it is just an opinion, and an opinion can change. It should never be taken so seriously that it becomes your only source of motivation. True support is not always loud. Sometimes there are people, those who may not validate you with their words, but still they may support you through their actions, and that is far more valuable. Ultimately, only you can hold a thorough understanding of the process you are in, the efforts it takes, the challenges you face, and the wisdom you gain along the way. Self-doubt often begins when you overestimate others' opinions and underestimate your own. You give their thoughts more weight than your inner voice. But the truth is, it is not important to know what others think of you. It is far more important to know what you think about yourself. That's what anchors your confidence. Because people's opinions about you are really about you. Their perceptions are filtered through their own lens, shaped by their values, past experiences, and their biases. If someone is judgmental, they are going to see you critically. If someone is insecure, they might project their insecurities onto you. What they see in you is often a reflection of what they carry within themselves. That's why self-doubt takes hold when you internalize someone else's distorted perception as your truth. But when you have a strong, clear sense of self, when you see yourself through your own lens rather than someone else's, it becomes much harder to be swayed away by what others think of you. You can hear feedback without absorbing it, and observe criticism without letting it define you. Building self-trust means making your opinion about yourself louder than the noise around you. It is about creating an identity which is not up for negotiation every time someone misunderstands you. When you deeply know who you are, others' opinions don't shake you. They simply reveal more about them than about you. Understand that people are free to hold their opinions, and those opinions say nothing about you as an individual. Everyone sees the world through their filter, shaped by their beliefs, their experiences, and their projections. Their thoughts about you are just reflections of that and should not be considered as objective truth. Know that caring about others does not mean you have to care too much about their opinions. You can still care about someone even if they don't share your views. You can still love, respect, and connect with people even if your opinions don't match with theirs, or when they don't understand your perspectives. Emotional maturity is about staying rooted in your truth without needing others' validation. Stay neutral toward both positive and negative opinions about you. If you let compliments inflate you, you let criticism deflate you. True freedom comes when you are no longer emotionally dependent on being liked. Stay grounded in who you are regardless of how you are perceived. Don't use other people's opinions to shape your behavior because it will lead to people pleasing, and this reduces the chance of being accepted for who you are. Ironically, the more you try to be accepted, the less you feel truly seen. Release the fear of rejection. Rejection is not always the reflection of your worth, it is simply a misalignment. The fear of not being accepted keeps you small, but facing it sets you free. Start prioritizing your own ideas and opinions over those of others. Learn to prioritize your own beliefs, opinions, and wisdom over external feedback. You become powerful when your self-worth comes from within and not from how you are perceived. So many of us spend years and sometimes even decades living our lives on a stage that we didn't audition for, performing roles that we didn't choose, all to win approval of the audience that was never meant to define us. But approval is not the same as love, and being liked is not the same as being seen. At some point, you have to decide whose opinions matter the most, yours or theirs. You have to ask questions like, am I building a life that reflects who truly I am? Or am I building life that simply avoids judgment? Because real and lasting freedom does not come from being accepted, but it comes from accepting yourself. And the moment you stop waiting for permission to be who you are, is the moment you start living truly. Before you go, ask yourself this: what would you say, do, or create if you were not afraid of being misunderstood? Journal it down, because this version of you, which is not shaped by fear, is probably your truest version. Thanks for watching and take care.